Hi, and thanks for logging on to the Daily Dvar, and here's a brand new halacha for you, and it's for Sunday, the 10th day of March. Here we go. I want to remind you that in most places that are listening to this, at least around the United States, we move the clock forward, or depending when you're listening to this, we have moved the clock forward, and that's at 2 a.m. on Sunday morning. 2 a.m. Sunday morning, March 10th. Now that has halachic ramifications, and I want you to know about them. Now, generally, all times have moved an hour later, and here are some of those ramifications. First of all, to those of you who like to daven at the crack of dawn, the crack of dawn has moved to an hour later, so be careful about that. If you want to wake up at 5 in the morning and do your davening, it could be too early, depending on where you live, because dawn has now jumped to 1 hour later, and in some areas, dawn is as late as something like 6 in the morning, so watch for that. Also, some other things to check for. Some of these will work in your favor if you're a sleeper-inner. The latest time to say Shema was, creeping early until the clock changed, and now the latest time to say Shema jumps an hour later, so you can still say Shema, check your area and ask your rabbis in your area, but you might be able to say Shema as late as 10 o'clock in the morning. You might be able to say Shema Esrei as late as like 11 o'clock in the morning, but please check with your rabbi if those times are accurate for your area, because everything has now jumped to more on the later side. It's important for mincha, because whereas in some areas it was okay to daven mincha a little bit before 1 o'clock, now it's only okay to daven mincha a little bit before 2 o'clock. If you were to daven mincha at 1, in some areas now it's too early and your mincha wouldn't count. Also, you have a longer afternoon now, so you can do mincha all the way until like around 7 o'clock in the evening, and Marav cannot begin as early as it used to, now that things have changed. So what's going to happen now is Marav should only start after, well, basically most people would say after sundown, and sundown has jumped back to, I think, after 7 o'clock in some areas, so Marav can't begin until after that time. And Marav always has, best time to daven Marav is for the middle of the night, but technically if you're desperate, you could daven Marav all night long. So those are some of the quick ramifications that will affect you now that the times have changed. Pesach being 2 weeks away, it's going to mean that the Seder is going to start an hour on the late side. But it often does at this time of year, so there's no escaping that. So the Seder, if you'd like to start at 7, so it would finish nice and early, you can't start it that early. You're going to have to wait till, well, you'll see. It's going to be somewhere around 8 o'clock, depending on your area. Thanks for logging on, and log on again tomorrow for more. Bye-bye.